So this morning plans didn't quite work out. I started getting some chest pain this morning, and the same chest pain that I've had for the last week or so, maybe more. And I think maybe, I don't know if it's been a month or several weeks since my doctor's appointment. I remember having chest pain then as well around that time. So yeah, this morning's sort of chest pain felt more pronounced. I kind of had to sort of drop everything. And I think what probably kind of triggered it this morning seems like it's been in my body for a while, like the symptoms of that sort of underneath the surface. I think it was just trying to organise my day in the morning. When I woke up today, it wasn't really great weather. It was raining, but more importantly, it was windy, and I was just worried about my anxiety because I struggle with the wind especially, and it's hard to know if maybe it was a blend of lots of things. It's hard to pinpoint one thing, whether it's my anxiety about the wind or the wind itself. That was my thoughts about the anxiety or the anxiety itself. And also, I think also I had some sort of complex thoughts about writing as well. I was just sort of standing in my kitchen, not knowing. I had like 2 or 3 things I was trying to figure out at once. I was thinking, okay, do I have breakfast? Do I have coffee? And so there was that thought process going on. Then there was a really heavy thought process about writing, and I think, whether I should write, do I want to write? I'm going to try and sort of work through the thought processes here, perhaps, if I can. But I'm also just clocking on to maybe that I don't want to ratchet up any sort of stress or anxiety as well. So maybe it's a good idea not to go into detail. But perhaps a brief comment about the writing. It's almost as if my mind was trying to find a way to tackle my thoughts about writing because it was so overwhelming. And it feels like thoughts about writing is like a huge structure, and it's not like little bite-sized things I can go off of. It was kind of large-scale thinking. It's not. It wasn't a case of, okay, can I write for today? Because it feels like in order. Maybe I'm going into detail now. I don't know, but let's just roll with it. To kind of, in order for me to write today, I need to know my sort of relationship with writing, because what's been painful in the past has been when I've done a bit of writing here or there. It's been very sporadic, and or working on like a novel, it's really hard to keep trying to dial into the story and the flow of editing in the story. And it's really not enjoyable kind of doing sporadic sort of dips here or there, weeks or months apart. So it's kind of trying to include that information. Maybe I'll talk, if I'm able to, a bit more detail about, or try and almost excavate what was going on in my relationship with writing. But I felt like all in 1 second of me standing in the kitchen, I was trying to resolve, okay, can I write? Can I go back to writing with the thought that it's not just going to be for today? That can I just also it's really hard to explain, but can I kind of dial back into the craft and the reading? So can I guess if for me writing is like, the act of writing, then there's reading, there's the craft and studying it and all of that. So can I do that mechanism that makes it enjoyable for me to write? And I was just having trouble dialing into that. It's kind of, I was a bit in paralysis whether to dial into that or not, whether I was able to dial into it or not. And I think as it was windy and raining, that was kind of in my thoughts as well. It's still quite windy outside at the moment, but I didn't make it out to upload yesterday's vlog. I'll see if I'm able to upload it today, if possible. Got like a chicory coffee here. Thought I wouldn't have another coffee. Something in there, no. So it's really hard to know as well. If the chest pain's accumulated anxiety, it's not just that moment of putting stress on my mind and body of trying to, think through big thoughts and sort of large-scale thoughts about stuff like writing, and also trying to do like a really simple task as organise myself to whether to have something to eat or not, or go straight to the park, or so there's lots of almost calculations going in. I was thinking, okay, can I wear a Mac and go outside? And then when I went into the bathroom to check if the window was open after I showered, I could hear the wind. It was really quite strong, and I was just I was thinking maybe it's going to be difficult for me to sit in a park where it's that kind of weather. And that led to thoughts of, do I really want to go to the library to write? And all of that thought process related to that, almost like a box of thoughts, really. Then I was kind of feeling the chest pain. I was still sort of trying to get on with things, and then maybe it's just persisted a lot, and it kind of maybe forced me to slow down, to acknowledge the chest pain, that sometimes I can get used to it. It really got my attention to, okay, I've got to really slow down. So I kind of just dropped everything. I'm not sure how the rest of today's going to go. So I still haven't managed to cook for this evening. I just had a sandwich for lunch, and my kitchen is sort of messy, and especially the floor as well. Maybe it's an OCD thing where I feel, because the space I have here is like the living space is here, and then just here is the kitchen, and the kitchen floor. I've got like a rug here, and the kitchen floor is like really, you can see all of like the dirt and stuff on. Maybe it's not dirt in that same way, but just whatever's on the floor, I can see it, and it's not nice to see or be close to. But more importantly is perhaps I sort of need to cook today. So I'm going to maybe focus on that, and maybe tomorrow I can try and sort of clean the floor. Maybe I don't necessarily have to maybe I can do a bit of a shortcut and not hoover the rug necessarily. Maybe just sweep up the floor, mop the floor, but maybe it's best to do all of it. So yeah, I've just been kind of tending to the chest pain really. I've just been sort of watching a series, so it kind of feels like it's a grounding experience in there doing that. And I've just been focusing on my breathing as well, because I'm kind of worried about the chest pain a little bit. It seems like it's anxiety related, because it feels like the chest pain had similar before, and when I mentioned it to the doctor, they it's one of the reasons I'm not probably going to consult a doctor at the moment, because I think last time I did there was the offer of sort of pharmaceutical medication, and I'm not sure if I trust that really. Yeah, it's confusing, because I don't know where I stand with it, and part of me just wants to trust and just go with the flow of things, of just, but then there's also a part of me that's not trusting of that, and I think I'm sort of in my head I've got loads of views and like interviews or podcasts about medication, and some about saying use medication, use it, and then others saying it can be harmful as well. So I just not trusting of anything, trusting of myself to decide whether to use it or not. And so I'm just kind of not going there really with that. So it feels like, so with that kind of option closed, it feels like a little bit more, it's a bit more sort of pressure on myself to try and get on top of this and really try and help myself. And I mentioned previously the helplessness, and I can feel it there now, and it's kind of like a real effort to do some deep breathing and to remain sort of in that calm state. Because I don't really want to go to the doctors and have to try and decide whether that pharmaceutical medication is something I can do. So where there's so much stuff that I can't just articulate right now. There's feelings there about the medication and about not trusting, and it's just I don't have any way I feel like I can articulate those feelings. And it's weird because these feelings kind of make me feel a bit insane when I'm not able to put words to them and explain even to myself. And then it's kind of some sort of form of insanity, the only word that comes to mind really. It's like feelings come up, then they collapse, and other feelings come up, and I can't sort of process them really. It's just I can't put words to them, and it's confusing. So I'm going to continue trying to remain calm and breathe, just do the really, really simple, basic things, and I think it's helping. Like the chest pain, I don't feel it now sat down, and it's strange because just having a couple of thoughts and a chest pain comes back, so it feels like I feel quite fragile, and the chest pain's kind of right underneath the surface, that if my stress levels increase slightly, whether it's by a certain thought or most likely usually it's a thought or a worry or something, can easily trigger that chest pain again. So and maybe it's the accumulation of stuff which has put me in this condition, this situation where the chest pain is so below the surface, and it's too much for me to kind of analyse in some respects. But maybe it's just to keep that in mind, that it may not be just because of today, and that may also mean that it may take some time, it may take some days and weeks also to kind of flush out that stress or anxiety in me, so I'm not so prone to suddenly getting pain in my chest. And maybe having the chest pain on and off for the last week or two or more, or various spells in the last month at least, is maybe an indicator of that. It could just be a blend of lots of things, really. The writing stuff, maybe blend the letter. I've been trying to write and stuff with my mum. It could be that. And just general mental health as well, which is putting a huge strain on me. So maybe the best sort of thing right now is just to try and make things as easy as possible. Drop as many things as I can, such as the writing stuff. Just kind of drop that for the moment. That whole, just just focus on things that can help calm me down. So just, it's all about the chest pain at the moment, just doing things to help with that, such as watching something. Maybe I can try and go for a gentle walk outside. I feel like being in a park and nature, that I'm sure that would be good for me. A little bit of gentle exercise may get out some of the energy in me as well, any anxious energy. And cooking, I'm not sure if that will be stressful or not. Maybe the thought of if I'm able to do it or not is stressful, but maybe I can just try and see when I get back and see if I'm able to do that. I need to sort of wash some dishes as well. Maybe I can do that, try and do that, and see how the chest pain is. I know when the chest pain was more pronounced this morning, when I was kind of bending down into a cupboard, I could feel that was making it worse. So like physical posture as well, it's kind of adding to it. I'm still maybe debating whether to let a doctor know, because the tricky thing is, by going through the GP practice, especially when it's chest pain, they may have to like see me, and then I have to go through what I already know, like, okay, here's some medication for you, and that triggers again thoughts about that, really. So I think that's why I'm just going to try my best to use the natural stuff right now, and stuff that's free, that's available to me, like deep breathing, and not underestimate that. I think there's other things like CBD oils, but I think it's just, when I looked at those, I think around that time when I had the chest pain at a doctor's appointment, I think I was just noting the expense of them, and just like a large range, and it's quite expensive. So maybe I could just focus on the tools I have available to me now and see how I go. So I think that's where I'm at the moment. So it's kind of clear in some ways what I need to do for the rest of my day, and just try and focus on this. Finding these vlogs difficult as well, because I'm finding that what goes through my head is not what comes out. Sometimes it's like, sometimes there can be a way of how I've wanted to say something in my mind, but then when it's articulated verbally, it just feels like a faint echo of what I'm really trying to say. So that's a bit frustrating. Maybe that's just to do with my sort of brain fog, or that kind of symptom. I don't know. So I'm just going to have this chicory coffee and watch some more of the series a little bit, and then maybe see about going outside, and I've got to be careful about that as well, because it can easily turn into stressful thinking of, you know, that I should go outside because it will keep me calm, but then that should thought kind of feels like I'm so sensitive physically right now and with my anxiety that it can just trigger if there's any sort of decision making around that. So maybe I can find a way just to approach that, to think, you know, after I've done with the drink and I'm thinking about going outside, just think, okay, can I go outside, and just see the first thought that comes into my head. So if it's like a yes and there's a momentum to do that, then I can try and do that. But if there's any resistance to that, I don't think I have the strength to remedy that resistance, to try and encourage myself to go outside, because I just don't have that in me at the moment. I think it would just cause anxiety and then more chest pain potentially. So I've just got to be a bit careful how I approach that. Maybe with the cooking as well, perhaps. Yeah, maybe there's some good approaches to have. So yeah, I think that's about it for this recording. Strange. I don't know if it's being betrayed in my voice. It sounds like it is because my voice feels very weak, but I didn't feel like down about about the chest pain. I just feel like, okay, that's something I've got to deal with right now. So I don't feel like I'm dealing with other things, and now I've got to deal with this now as well. So that helps a lot. I'm not feeling that, oh, I shouldn't have this chest pain or I shouldn't have that. It's just, so there is a bit of mindfulness space in me that's thinking, okay, I've got this chest pain, what can I do to help with that? So that's a positive to do as well. So I kind of wanted to mention that in case it, you know, my voice that seems quite soft and quiet, and maybe my facial expressions as well, it can seem like maybe I'm lacking in energy, but I don't feel like really down, I don't think. It's funny because I guess maybe I can tell you, I feel sad in a sense. It's kind of sadness there, or depression, but it's like not on like that acute sort of sadness of just feeling really down, but there's a general mellow sort of undercurrent of that. Oh, that's there, that's happening in terms of enjoyment and the lack of that. But in terms of acute sadness, where I feel like I'm gonna really go into a dark mood, that's not there. So that's good. Maybe I'll see how I'll see how the rest of the day goes. I won't say that I'll try and do a vlog tomorrow, that I'll just take them as they come. I may even record tonight or tomorrow, or I'll see when the next time is available for me to do. But I kind of wanted to record about the chest pain, because it felt like I was going a bit crazy just thinking about it myself, and to pull it out on here probably helps a bit too. Maybe some validation and acknowledgement as well, and also I think me saying it here and recording it, it makes me take it more seriously as well, and I've got to deal with this, so that's a useful thing. And it's probably what I'd get from seeing a doctor, but I can sort of maybe on here it's good enough for the moment to just share it on, just to record it and get it, and just about to say get it off my chest, but so it's forced me to really slow down and it's almost forced me to be mindful. And I know I've said I've been struggling to be mindful, but now I kind of have to be, because if I'm not mindful enough, then it's easy for that chest pain to sort of come back in some ways. And so yeah, it's kind of forcing me to do that. But yeah, I'm hoping the wind dies down as well, so I can try and get outside. I think that will be useful for me to do if I am able to do that, but we'll see. But I'll try not to put any expectations on myself, because right now it's I'm in that space where it's hard to do anything at the moment, so I'll see how it goes.